The stars above Altair Prime shimmered like shattered glass, casting their cold light across the turbulent oceans that covered 78% of the planet's surface. The Thrillians had long ruled the space lanes of the Centauri sector with an iron claw, their fleets feared wherever they went. Yet there was one domain even they avoided: water worlds. Any planet with a deep ocean was considered a death trap, an anomaly in the cosmos where their advanced sensors failed and their ships could not operate. The human scouts first discovered Altair Prime almost by accident. Lieutenant Mara Kinsley, captain of the exploration vessel Endeavour, had been chasing a stray gravitational anomaly when her instruments detected a planet with massive bodies of liquid water. Most species would have sent automated probes, but humans swam. It started small. On Earth, generations had learned to survive in water, to hunt, to float, and to dive. By the time humans had expanded beyond the solar system, that instinct had evolved into something far more remarkable: adaptability. Where other species relied entirely on technology, humans relied on their bodies, on ingenuity, and on sheer stubbornness. The first human survey team landed on Altair Prime in atmospheric suits designed for shallow underwater exploration. The Thrillians, observing from orbit, had laughed. In their history, no species could survive for more than an hour in the crushing depths of a planet's oceans. But Mara's team did not just survive, they thrived. By the third week, the humans had constructed underwater habitats, tapping geothermal vents to power their systems. Drones were deployed, yes, but the humans themselves were the primary agents of exploration. They swam with a grace that belied their bulky suits, diving into depths that even the most advanced Thrillian submarines could not hope to reach. The Thrillians at first tried intimidation. Their flagship, the VRYLL Dominator, descended into the planet's upper oceans, weapons charged. Mara and her team observed from a ridge of basalt below, currents swirling around them like ghostly fingers. The humans did not panic. They had anticipated this. Lieutenant Kinsley activated the hydroflotation module, a device of human engineering that allowed the wearer to move freely in high-pressure environments. She gestured to the team, and they surged upward, forming a living barrier between the Thrillians and the hydrothermal vents that powered their research station. The Thrillians fired warning shots. The energy pulses disintegrated coral-like formations harmlessly around the humans, who laughed. To the Thrillians' horror, the humans swam directly through the blasts, using water currents to deflect the energy. Mara's voice crackled over comms, calm and precise. "You may have conquered the stars, but this is our element. Leave now, or you will learn why humans belong here." That was the first time the Thrillians realized their fear of water worlds was not just instinct, it was ignorance. They had never met a species that could not only survive underwater, but dominate it. Over the next months, humans mapped the oceanic trenches, discovered bioluminescent life forms of unimaginable complexity, and built transoceanic networks connecting scattered underwater research stations. They even engineered rudimentary submersible fighters that moved with the agility of marine predators. One day, a Thrillian scout, a sleek, silver-scaled predator named VRYXX, attempted a solo infiltration of a human facility. VRYXX believed that speed and cunning could overcome the humans' adaptive advantage. It had studied them for weeks, noting their strange reliance on water for mobility. Yet when it breached the outer perimeter, it was met by something entirely unexpected: a team of human divers led personally by Mara Kinsley. "Surface or die," Mara said, her tone devoid of fear. VRYXX hissed, lungs flaring in a futile attempt to process the pressure of deep water. It tried to strike, but the humans had anticipated every movement. Using non-lethal containment nets laced with electromagnets, they immobilized the Thrillian and brought it aboard their mobile research station. Through careful translation, the humans learned why the Thrillians had avoided water worlds. Their biology was fragile in liquid environments, their energy-based weapons dispersed in water, and their sensors failed. Oceans were unpredictable, chaotic, an anathema to their orderly militaristic doctrine. This knowledge ignited a daring plan among the humans. If they could weaponize their adaptability, they could take the fight directly to Thrillian-controlled systems. But Mara knew that direct confrontation was unnecessary. Humans had something far deadlier than weapons: survival instinct. Weeks later, the humans unveiled it, a fleet of agile submersibles, each manned by diverse trained in high-pressure maneuvering and equipped with electromagnetic pulse torpedoes. They called it the Aqua Vanguard. When deployed near Thrillian shipping lanes, the fleet struck like a tidal wave, disabling ships without a single casualty on the human side. News spread quickly across Thrillian networks. Humans had invaded waters that were supposed to be untouchable. Panic gripped the upper echelons of Thrillian command. Planets they had considered safe bases were now vulnerable to human assault. Water, once their enemy, had become the humans' greatest ally. Mara received a coded transmission from the Thrillian High Council. They requested a parley. Aboard the Endeavour, she listened to their representative, a tall, sinuous figure named HFY Sci-Fi. Its voice was cold, but beneath the formalities was palpable fear. Humans, your presence in liquid environments is unprecedented. We request a ceasefire and dialogue. Mara leaned back in her chair, letting the currents of their logic settle around her mind. They are afraid, she thought. Not of our weapons, but of our will. We do not wish for unnecessary bloodshed, she replied. But water worlds are ours now. If you want peace, you will respect that fact. The Thrillians balked. They had never faced negotiation from a species that did not fear them. Weeks of tense diplomacy followed, punctuated by small skirmishes in the shadowed trenches of Altair Prime. But eventually, pragmatism prevailed. Humans had demonstrated mastery over an environment the Thrillians could not navigate. Their victory was quiet, yet absolute. Years passed. Humans colonized water worlds across the sector. Their ships glided seamlessly between space and ocean, and on each new planet, they brought the same message: adaptability is power. The Thrillians, once the feared masters of the sector, were forced to cede control of any planet with significant oceans. Mara Kinsley, now Admiral Kinsley, stood on the observation deck of the Endeavour, watching bioluminescent currents swirl beneath the hull. She remembered the early days of Altair Prime, the first dive, the first confrontation with the Thrillians. We were small, and they were many, she mused. Yet we learned to swim, and in doing so, we conquered fear itself. Human children were taught the same lessons. The universe is vast, and danger is inevitable, but so is the capacity to adapt. Across countless water worlds, humans thrived where others could not. They built underwater cities with technology integrated into the very currents of the sea, and they explored trenches where alien predators had never ventured. The Thrillians, in turn, became reluctant allies in some regions, trading knowledge in exchange for humans avoiding aggression in purely terrestrial zones. Their fear of water worlds remained, but now it was tempered with respect and a grudging admiration for the species that had turned their weakness into humanity's greatest strength. It was on a quiet dawn, as Mara watched schools of shimmering fish glide past the observation dome, that she understood the full magnitude of what humanity had accomplished. The galaxy was full of predators, full of species that relied on brute strength, speed, or overwhelming firepower. Humans relied on none of that. They relied on resilience, on intelligence, and above all, on the courage to immerse themselves fully in the unknown. And when they did, the predators always fled. The water of Altair Prime stretched endlessly, a living, breathing testament to human ingenuity. Somewhere in the deep trenches, Thrillians still whispered about the strange species that swam like gods. On the surface, humans celebrated quietly, not because they had destroyed an enemy, but because they had discovered something far more precious: mastery over themselves and the worlds they touched. In the end, the legend of humans became a story repeated across the galaxy. They did not fear what others feared. They did not cower from environments that seemed deadly. They did not rely on alien technology to survive. They learned, adapted, and thrived. And the predators? They always fled. Mara Kinsley, now old but unbowed, wrote the final log for the fleet. Her words were simple, yet they would echo for generations. The galaxy is wide, the waters deep, and the predators many. But remember this: humans were born to adapt. And when we adapt, no force can stop us. We do not merely survive, we dominate, not by cruelty or conquest, but by learning, by courage, and by refusing to fear. Wherever there is water, there is life. Wherever there is life, there is humanity. And wherever there is humanity, predators will always flee. Her final transmission ended with a single message to the stars: this is not the end of the human story. It is merely the beginning. The oceans shimmered beneath her, full of untold wonders and challenges yet to come. And as the Endeavour glided over the waves, Admiral Kinsley smiled. Humanity had not just learned to swim, they had learned to rule the water worlds, and the galaxy would never be the same.